Welcome back, everybody. SDFC Bros, and we're coming back with another video. Leagues Cup didn't go our way in it.
Did not, but maybe it was for the best.
Maybe it's for the best. Maybe we rest a few guys, kind of prepare for the rest of the league season. But guys, we're gonna be talking about Leagues Cup in this one. Obviously, a couple new signings, and obviously our weekend game versus Kansas City. But guys, if you guys are new here, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and check us out on Instagram and TikTok. Link in the description. So if you guys want to find us on any of our socials, you can find them on there. Carlos, how'd you just been? How have you
Good.
been?
I haven't been too bad. I've been what's it called? It was an interesting week in the Leagues Cup, but very excited to talk about San Diego soccer.
Definitely. So let's just dive right into it. We'll start off with the Tigres game on Friday last week, and we got treated like kings
thankfully.
for that game. So big shout out to Leagues Cup. We got this cool little scarf that was in the suite and everything like that, and no pun intended.
Please go watch the video on Instagram.
Yeah, it's on the vlog and everything like that, so make sure y'all check it out. But with no pun intended, it was pretty sweet, huh?
Yeah, no, it was sweet. We got to go onto the field, which I think was just like a. We were actually able to go on the field previous to that too, to hold.
Oh, the little banner.
Yeah, to hold the banner, but
I'll pop
I think
it up right now.
It was really nice to be able to actually be able to be escorted onto the field and like standing next to the players.
Create content.
Yeah, create content.
Right.
Had a conversation with Cedro Dos Santos.
Yeah.
Got to see Ian and Manu both follow us, so it was really nice.
Yeah. So big shout out to them, and yeah, it was just crazy night. Unfortunately, the result didn't get into our way, so we'll kind of just get into the thick of that. I think honestly, I was very pessimistic going into this game. I thought Tigres was just gonna wipe the floor with us, especially because of how they treated Houston in that game.
Right.
Angel Correa, bro. Like, this guy, I know he was at the top level with Atletico Madrid. We saw him play for Atletico Madrid literally
actually.
a month prior to this when we were at the Club World Cup game versus PSG. So it's kind of interesting to kind of see him again in a different kit, but man, you just see like the level of quality that European players have.
Right.
And in this game, like, he was just running the show. Like, he just showed his class and his quality. And I think he was definitely one of the main protagonists for Tigres to kind of put themselves in a position to really dictate the game.
Right.
What you kind of just think about Tigres stacking up against SDFC?
Yeah, I mean, initially going into it, I thought we had a good shout. You know what I'm saying? We had San Diego. Before the lineups, actually, I thought we had, we had a good,
true.
We had a good thing. I thought San Diego was gonna come. We take the loss, we take the hit on the head against Pachuca. You know what I'm saying? But we come back and we try to win this. That's what I thought, and I felt like we had the potential against Tigres. I truly always believe in San Diego, and I think we have the ability to do the best that we can, especially with all the teams, like the best team on paper, on there. But also not having Dreyer felt like, okay, what's the thing? But immediately as we see the lineups, I think that's when all hope and all, what's it called? It just kind of showed we're not really in this game as much as I thought. But it was just sad seeing that lineup a little bit.
Yeah, we rested a lot of guys. Bambino was on the bench. I think Chucky was on the bench. And we were playing like a front three of Boateng, Tomas Angel, and then David Vasquez, who was really impressive versus Mazatlan, and we'll get to that later. But, just seeing the starting lineup, and then, towards the tail end of the game, Yepe came off injured, so then we were playing with 10 men for like the rest of the 15 minutes that was left to play. And I think it was one of those games where it's like, I feel like we were kind of just like, all right, let's just test our luck. If we get a good result in this one, then maybe we can, ride our chances versus Mazatlan. But I think it was one of those where it's like, I think you kind of just look at where the level of SDFC is at, and it's not a particularly low level, but with a team like Tigres, who boasts the names like Gignac, Lainez, and obviously Correa, like we mentioned before, just they're a powerhouse. And I mean, for me, they were one of my favorites. I think they're actually eliminated now.
Really? Because they lost to LAFC.
Because they lost to LAFC, so that's going to be kind of interesting where their season kind of pivots. But for me, it was just one of those where it's like, okay, if we kind of just roll the dice a little bit, get lucky, then maybe we can grab something out of this game. But I think in terms of the style of play and kind of how we were playing, honestly, I think Tigres only scored goals because of our mistakes.
100%.
I think, with the Manu mistake, and then you had Cisniega kind of spill the ball and Correa dribbled around him. I feel like other than that, Tigres couldn't break a damn lock in this game.
Right.
What did you think
No,
about those?
I agree. I totally agree. I think a lot of the goals that happened were because of our mistakes, but that's the reality of soccer. Mistakes happen. The only problem with me is that on the other end, San Diego FC is not doing anything to capitalize on those mistakes. So those mistakes cost us the game. You know what I'm saying? It is so hard for us to score that those mistakes are terrible. If you make one mistake, that's one goal, and it's not even a hill to climb. It's Mount Everest to climb with this team to score. Essentially, especially against a team against like Tigres. So the cracks started showing after the first goal, but even with this BC team, we still had a good competition against Tigres. And honestly, if we had Dreyer, our starting, even with Tomas Angel as striker, I think we would have came out this game victorious, truthfully, and with not a lot of mistakes being made. Who knows? We won't ever know. You know what I'm saying? Tigres played a really good game. San Diego played a really good game. And it was, I think, at the end of the day, even though we didn't get the result that we wanted, I think for me, it was a very happy medium.
Yeah.
And not only because of our seats or anything like that, but at the end of the day, we got to see our team, San Diego, play a powerhouse Tigres. You know what I'm saying? A team from outside the pond showed these players, MLS players, who first time in MLS, like Dreyer, Yepe, their first times in MLS, like, oh, this is your rival
like
across the pond.
Yeah,
across the pond. Like, you've had MLS. This is something that's going to happen yearly. You know what I'm saying? Just get used to these Mexican teams. And it really showed. And you could see that we were a little bit out of our depth against Pachuca, maybe even Tigres. But it was a nice little taste. And it was a really fun game at the end of the day. Unfortunately, Tigres take it at the very end. But there was a moment of hope for San Diego FC. And that was all that we could ask for.
100%. I want to kind of capitalize on those moments, especially early on, right? The first maybe opening 10 minutes,
right?
I really thought SD was going to get a goal, right? Just because of how kind of dangerous we were looking. But you said it versus Pachuca, where, these Mexican teams kind of just like to sit and kind of just be a little stagnant, to kind of just feel you out a little bit, to kind of see where the openings are kind of going to open up. And I think Tigres did exactly that. But it's like in that first opening 10 minutes, I think a lot of the fans were optimistic, and the atmosphere for that game,
insane.
It was great. Even though it felt like there was a lot more than 25,000.
Right.
I don't know, just something about it. Maybe it's just because we were a little lower or something like that.
Frontera just showed out.
Frontera was killing it that game. One of my favorite performances.
Probably the best unity we've seen in that group in a long time.
I think so as well. So it's just like kind of like one of those. But when you kind of look at it from like a sporting aspect, right, where San Diego FC, I feel like, again, we're just beating this dead horse over and over and over again.
Right.
Where when we don't capitalize on these chances, it comes around and bites us in the ass way later down in the game. And I mean, look, I think when you kind of approach a game like this, where it's like, I think with a lineup like that, I think Tigres even themselves were kind of just like, okay, maybe we don't have to go 100%. Which is why I think another reason why I think SDFC was kind of looking a little sharp in those earlier moments of the game. And
exactly.
I mean, I think the main thing that's kind of just going through my head, especially with how Dreyer came on versus Mazatlan, what would this game been like if Dreyer was on? And I mean, look, I think if you go with like a Chucky on the left, Dreyer center forward, Mayan on the right, then, maybe you're talking about a different result.
Right. No, and I agree. I think at the end of the day, like, we did the best that we could with what we wanted. I guess Mikey Varas went into it like, let me put the BC team. If we win, we win. You know what I'm saying? If we lose, it's not that big of a deal. Mm-hmm. And, at the end of the day, I respect it. You know what I'm saying? Of course, I want to win everything possible. I want to fight as much as possible. But it is the League's Cup. And right now, it truly shows we have our priorities straight. And our priority straight is to win the MLS Cup. Would we have focused more on League's Cup if we weren't in first place? Maybe.
Yeah.
But really, we are in first place. We are probably one of the best teams in MLS right now, and I think the focus just completely was, let's lock in on
certainly
on that. And I mean, at the end of the day, I had a really fun time against the Tigres, and if we're really closing it out, we get to see a good performance and a good goal from Tomas Angel.
Yeah.
See his motivation come up, which we're gonna definitely talk a lot about him.
Oh yeah.
Not only right now against the Mazatlan or Tigres, but like I think going forward, like
throughout the season.
Yeah, throughout MLS, because it is a project that really needs a lot of work. But outside of that, like being able to end that, being able to walk around our stadium and see Tigres fans or Pachuca fans or Mazatlan fans was just an amazing feeling. You know what I'm saying? To have all these people come out and come and experience San Diego. And thankfully, at the end of the Tigres game, we were able to meet
Yeah, the president of Tigres,
Yes.
which was pretty kind of crazy, right? Just because it's like that's a big don
Right,
in the football world, especially in the Liga MX world.
Of course.
You probably know it way better than me, but kind of just I was just so checked out because it's like I just hear you and producer Jasmine, y'all are just speaking Spanish, and I'm just fucking off doing my own thing.
Right,
so
right.
I'm just so checked out. And then y'all were saying, "Oh, do you know who that was?" Da 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 da. I was like, "No," because it's like y'all got to remember. It's like
You don't know Spanish.
I don't know Spanish, so it's like, but it's also it's like the president of Tigres. He wasn't wearing no suit.
No, nothing.
Bro was in a tracksuit.
Absolutely, literally one of the most humblest.
Yeah,
names.
he was a chill guy, and like you were telling him, oh, like this, like I'm Italian, everything like that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
he's speaking a little Italian too, so it was pretty funny. But it just shows that it's like it doesn't matter kind of where your background is and everything like that. It's like everyone's literally just here for
Soccer,
ball.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like I think it was kind of. It was really cool, cool experience.
Yeah, and I think at the end of the day too, it wasn't like this. Like I think that's just what the Leagues Cup brings you. Is just this like closeness to literally your person across the pond. Your our literal neighbors. And like we talked about like with politics and everything like that side like that. But at the end of the day, like we brought these teams together. You know what I'm saying? Just showing again like soccer overruns everything. Like we can coexist without that. And truly speaking with him, he like loved us. You know what I'm saying? And didn't just talk to us as fans. He talked to us like respect
Like
and
people.
And then also we got the pleasure of speaking with his son.
Yeah,
and
big
it was
shout
like
out Emiliano.
yes, and like we literally got like as this new expansion team, we earned their respect.
Yeah.
Which was probably the most amazing thing that you could ask as an expansion team. But they came into San Diego, they enjoyed our weather, they enjoyed our stuff, and then they got to see a good game.
Yeah.
Against
A good football game.
A good football game. And they at some point in the day they're gonna be thinking about San Diego in a better light and a better thing. Maybe we might not be LAFC, you know what I'm saying, to that level right now. But at the end of the day these they experienced something that they probably never thought was gonna happen in San Diego, and that was an amazing thing. And it's, again, like this what the Leagues Cup brings you. So like a lot of hate towards it, but really it does bring such a
Yeah, definitely. And it was kind of just one of those things where it's like I think we saw a lot of interesting things on display, right? Because we saw Harangi get his first start, right? Just throw him out in the deep end versus Tigres. And then also, like I mentioned, David Vasquez just getting thrown out there in the deep end. So it's like, I think, it's kind of just a tall tale of a sign where it's like, okay, test our luck, but also let's kind of get these new signings kind of moving in the system and everything like that. And I think you definitely experienced that this whole Leagues Cup campaign where it's like I think this was kind of just like a moment of time to kind of get these new signings kind of just to get familiar with the system and the style of play.
Right, and I think I think long term it may have helped us. It may have helped us a lot
against big opponents too.
Right. So,
huge opponents,
and they showed out. So I think going and closing out the season, I think it gives us a breathing room from like the pressure that was maybe on us on MLS, and then at the end, like truthfully, just it really allows a little change and stuff. But I think the teams had fun. I think the players had fun, and I think the first game was really tough, but the next two games were just taken more with, let me just enjoy soccer.
Right, yeah, definitely. I 100% agree with that. So it's like, going into it, right, we're saying, okay, let's kind of roll the dice, let's see how it goes. And I think this was, a big wake-up call for S defense to kind of look at, okay, where is our level actually at when, respectfully, Pachuca, top club in Liga MX, and then Tigres, top club in Liga MX as well. And we put up a really good fight against Tigres, and then till the last 90 minutes versus Pachuca, right? They were up 3-0, so maybe they kind of, died in the game a little bit, but versus Mazatlan, and we'll kind of, transition into the Mazatlan game, right? This was one of those games where it was just nothing to play for, but this team, I feel like, showed a lot of really good things, but I think Mazatlan still had a lot to play for.
They did.
Because if they would have won, then I think they would have been top.
Yeah, close to qualifying pretty much,
Yeah, so I think Mazatlan still had a lot to play for, but I think it shows a lot about what this SD team can do against an opponent who still has a lot to play for. And I mean, look, I think it was like one of the halftime stats where Mazatlan didn't have a single shot on goal, like on target, on nothing. They didn't have a single shot. So I think, big credit to the defense. Obviously, they kept a clean sheet. It was nice seeing Cedro Dos Santos back in goal. So
great saves from him.
Yeah, so let's kind of talk about that, right? Because we saw a good little sample size from Cisniega last couple games compared to Cedro Dos Santos. What do you think was kind of the differences of both goalkeepers?
Well, I feel like Cisniega is really quick and fast and like goes to the ball. I think CJ Dos Santos has been a little nervous, and so there's a little like shakiness in him. But actually, for the first time, and maybe because he got to sit out for a while, I saw a very confident CJ Dos Santos against the Mazatlan game.
Right.
And again, making very confident saves and stuff like that. But again, that's what you're seeing from Cisniega is a very older goalkeeper
Right.
who understands the game a lot faster and a lot better than CJ Dos Santos, who's relatively young.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But after this and seeing that, it didn't look like CJ Dos Santos came in and lost anything. It didn't look like he came and he was pissed off. It didn't look like he was angry or anything. It almost looked like he took it as a moment to rejuvenate, let me get back into my zone, and literally jump in like it was nothing. And again, to have a clean sheet against Mazatlan and very big saves.
Right.
And again, I think he was playing out the box a lot faster, and I think we just see a very more confident CJ Dos Santos than we did with Cisniega. And it's great to have both teams, you know what I'm saying, both goalies.
Yeah, you have two top quality goalkeepers, right?
Thank God I don't have to make that decision.
Yeah, no, it's a tough decision for Mikey Varas. It's a headache, but it's a good headache to have to kind of, dictate, okay, who am I going to play this weekend? I mean, look, I will say something about me just felt a lot more safer with CJ Dos Santos in goal, just because of the last couple mistakes that Cisniega has made in the last couple games versus Pachuca. I think he spilled a ball that kind of went into open space, and then versus Tigres as well, the first goal that Correa scored, Cisniega saved it, but again, he spilled it.
Yeah, so Cisniega does have a tendency to not hold on to the ball.
Like he parries the ball away versus, instead of just holding it. So it's like, I think that's something interesting to kind of look at. But at least for me, right, versus Mazatlan, I think one of the main standouts was David Vasquez, because I feel like he's a young player, yes, but also it's like you really saw a lot of more confidence, and I think because he had a lot more freedom to kind of do a lot more things. And I feel like that quality got exposed a lot more when Pedro Soma came in.
Yes.
And this is a player that I'm really excited about. What did you kind of think of David Vasquez versus Mazatlan?
Yeah, I mean, I liked him. I think it's still very early on, and we're playing very top teams, so it's kind of hard. But I'd like to see how he falls into the MLS structure, and again, like to where he goes in with us. But again, I think one of the biggest things that we can talk about through and through, it just seems like we are a plug-and-play system, and it is very fascinating to see these young players come in, and it is like just really quick to pick up on that. And the more he picks up on it, the better it's going to be. And again, another lone player, it's just another, backup. But with Pedro coming in, I think it really shows who he's going to fill in for.
Oh, yeah.
And it really, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel confident going into next season or even ending the season with him having that fill-in spot.
Right. Certainly, yeah. We always kind of were talking about that player that you're saying he's going to fill in for, De La Torre.
Right.
I'm going to be real. He's not signing an extension, guys. I think he's going to go back to Celta Vigo, or, if he does sign with us, cool. But I'm going to be real. I think life after De La Torre will be a lot better than life after Ilossi.
Right,
Just because, obviously, we have replacement
we actually
right
thought about
away.
it. Yeah.
Exactly that. But also, you see what Pedro Soma kind of gives, and it's similar to what De La Torre does, if not almost the exact same, but it's like you can see there's a player in there.
Right, exactly.
You see there's a player in there. You see kind of the quality, the touches, and kind of seeing him a lot more closely, right? Because we were on the lower level. You see kind of how fast he kind of looks around, scans, and everything like that.
Right,
and
he's young, so he's excited.
Oh, yeah, and I think, he was playing a little deeper, I think, but I think he likes to play in a more advanced role a little bit.
Right.
Every now and then, he went up there, and he got the hockey assist, the pre-assist, to Valakari's second goal.
Yeah.
So that's something to kind of look at, where he can exploit those parts in a team like that. And the second goal, it happened kind of quick, because Pedro had the ball, passed it to Vasquez, and then Vasquez little outside the boot pass to Valakari.
Yeah.
So it was
good to see Valakari taking shots.
Yeah, and I think that was one of the most satisfying things about the game versus Mazatlan, where we made the subs, bro. Dreyer, instant impact.
100%.
It was so refreshing to see a player like him come in and quite literally just take the game by the scruff of the neck and just dictate that match. Because I think he came in, and I think maybe less than 5 or 10 minutes he came in, boom, he already grabs an assist.
Right.
And I think that encapsulates what Dreyer can do in a game. And I mean, look, when you have someone like that who was rested, right, for 2 games versus Pachuca, right, and then Tigres, it was really good to kind of see him get that rest. What did you kind of think of Dreyer? And then do you think, he's kind of fired up and ready for the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think so. I think, again, I think a lot what happened in this League Cup was a blessing. I'm saying a blessing in disguise. And, maybe the red card against him, we wanted to win or lose. But, like, again, it allows for just an easy breather. And then he comes in on this game. And it was really interesting. And I think, like, we just take whatever it is and then just focus on MLS season going forward. But, again, like you said, Dreyer immensely, changed the game.
Yeah, definitely. And then on top of that, right, we rested a lot of other players. Bambino gets a well-deserved rest as well. Yepe, I don't know what the extent of his injury is.
Right.
There hasn't been any news that came out with. I don't know if it was just a knock or something like that, but he didn't even make an appearance in the game. I think he was just like on the bench, just chilling. But regardless of the fact is, when you go 1 for 3 against Liga MX teams, no matter how you see it, for me, right, Mazatlan, they're a lower Liga MX team, but they put up a good fight.
Yeah, I think Mazatlan is the most comparable to us. They're a new team too in Liga MX, an expansion, or you could say expansion, but I don't think they call it that. But still, he is one. They are one. So I guess it's the most closely related to, and I mean we really blew them out 2-0. And against these top clubs, this and that, we're not losing drastically.
Right.
So who knows? And who knows if the Liga MX is taking this seriously either? But still, at the end of the day, San Diego did play pretty well. We got a really good sample size at the end of the day, and I'm proud of them. Yeah, and I think we just look forward.
Yeah, we look forward to next year in Leagues Cup.
Yeah,
and then obviously for the rest of the season, because I think there was a lot of really good things, and I think going forward, this might be a hot take. I think that David Vasquez is going to start at right winger for the rest of the season.
Well, we'll see.
Because I think you'll go Dreyer center forward, Chucky on the left, David Vasquez on the right. What do you think?
I don't know. I have no idea. No? At this point, I have.
Because it's on every single game that we played in the Leagues Cup, it was like a different lineup every single time.
So I think what we see Saturday will dictate what happens going forward.
Saturday versus Kansas City.
I think that will dictate what happens going forward.
I think so as well.
If they play that way and they do good, Mike Guevara doesn't change it.
Right.
If they play that way and it goes bad, Mike Guevara changes. So I really don't know, and thankfully I don't have to make that decision. But if it was up to me, it's keep Ilowski.
Oh my gosh, this guy's going back on Ilowski. But it's like, so that kind of begs a question. It's like we played damn near a different lineup every Leagues Cup game. Is that kind of concerning to you, or do you think we're like, let's just kind of test the waters because it's Leagues Cup?
I think it was just test the waters as much as we can. I think Mikey Vadas knows his players now at this point, but it really was like, let's test the waters. And I'm grateful for it. And I think maybe a lot of us were surprised, like, oh, why'd you play your best players against Mazatlan? But I think it was just, again, like, they need to be ready for the Saturday, and then also, like, how can we fit the system going? Wasn't too bad of a shout. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, fair enough. So let's kind of, close off Leagues Cup, right? It was a good little experience, good little time to kind of see where SDFC stacks up against the top dogs of Liga MX. So it was really cool. Right. Really cool experience for Leagues Cup. My first time ever watching Mexican teams ever.
Awesome.
So that was my first time, and it was cool.
Yeah. Well, cool. I think he's a Tigres fan now too. So
I'm low key a Tigres fan. I'm not gonna lie, just because of Emiliano, low key. Yeah. But yeah, so big shout out to them. But let's talk about the new player, Escondido native actually.
Yeah.
And it's not Milan Ilowski.
No.
So we got Corey Byard. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Winger from FC Cincinnati. He's 29 years old. And he was formerly the MLS Rookie of the Year way back in the day.
Right.
So this signing kind of just off the rip, what is your kind of reaction to it?
Yeah, I think it was because my understanding is he also plays striker.
Okay.
And that's how they publicized him, not right wing. I don't think on SFCC. So I think it was meant to quiet down the fans who are asking stuff like that. But really, if you look, it's literally like, I think he's like B on FC Cincinnati, and he's just been tossed around through the league. LAFC, Real Salt Lake, Cincinnati, Houston. And now Houston, now here. And I think he's just one of those players that just teams are just, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like we need him, but when we don't need him, it's just like he's going to go somewhere else. And honestly, I think he's 29.
Yeah, he's 29.
At 29, it's just like I don't think he's going to see the light of day here in San Diego. I don't see a world where you play him over Tomas Angal either. Even though Tomas Angal is what's it called, but 0 goals so far in the last
18 appearances for Cincinnati, no goal contributions.
I think it was just something to calm the storm,
Maybe,
or to rotate Tomas Angal. But I think it was we're wasting money, like we're throwing money, and to sign him as well. Cincinnati was not going to loan him out.
It was $50K GAM, plus another $50K add-ons of GAM as well. So $100K for this guy, that's peanuts.
Right.
But it's like you kind of look at it, right? This is just such an unorthodox signing from SDFC because we're so used to the young guys coming in and maybe a loan deal and stuff like that. So then it's like I seen it. Maybe is it Escondido tags? We're like, all right, we sold an Escondido.
Yeah, I think it was just to what's it called, to
the PR.
I think it was a lot of PR, like striker, Escondido. We need another we need to make up for the San Diego loss.
Yeah.
But at the end of the freaking day, the PR didn't come from Losky being from Escondido or from San Diego. It came from the ability that he showed and the passion that he brought in. And again,
it's just a bonus.
Yeah, no shout out, no wrong to this Donnie, but again, at the end of the day, like. 29 can't teach an old dog new tricks. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting. Yeah, I think this is just strictly rotation piece. I think this is one of those where it's like, maybe he might play versus Sporting Kansas City in the weekend because this is one of our last games against a lower table opponent.
He could.
Because we still got LAFC, we still got both games versus Portland, and we still got a lot of other, mid-table teams that we still got to play Minnesota in San Diego as well. So we still got a lot of big games coming up. So maybe, he just gets thrown around in the roster a little bit, kind of just see his level. And look, we saw a man like Ibra come to the league. Look, we're talking Ibra, who's, old as a dog, but, he still killed it in MLS. So I don't know, maybe Bayer comes in and, he kind of, maybe shakes the team up a little bit, but I think there's still a lot of uncertainties.
It's just an interesting signing. No hate to him, no nothing. Yeah. But from my understanding, I think he's really going to be just a very
good rotation piece.
Yeah, like something I don't even think he's going to see the light of day for a long time.
Yeah, look, I think it's just preparing. I think it's just preparing for playoffs too.
Yeah.
Just because it's like when games do come thick and fast, and you do need to kind of rotate.
You have somebody.
And I think if we solidify first place, then I think if it's a game where we can kind of throw away. That's where you kind of see a game where Corey Bayard comes in and 100%. Just makes an appearance. So yeah, that's kind of just how we think. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section below about the new signing, whether he's a winger, whether he's a striker, however you want to see it. I think the only way we're gonna find out is if he plays briefly. So
exactly.
Let's talk about the next game versus Sporting Kansas City, 13th in the table, and in their last 3 games, 2 losses and a draw. But the last time we played them, we tied 0-0 at home.
Right.
So I think that was something where they just parked the bus and they were just saying, let's escape SD with the point.
Right.
What are your kind of reactions going into this game?
Yeah, if they park the bus and they play that, I think it comes to like us, like how much we want to score and everything like that. But again, I think this team is still trying to figure out how we score. Hopefully we can find it. But I really have no idea until we see, because I think we ended off the last MLS game with 2 last games, right? 2 MLS games with no Losky, or what?
We played Nashville and we won 1-0, so that's a solid W. And then we played Vancouver and we tied them, which is a good result as well. And then we lost against Toronto, and that was the first game without Ilosky, because versus Chicago, he was on the bench.
Yeah, so maybe we find a way to score a goal, this and that, but I really don't know after these games. I think we can end up scoring. I don't see a problem with it. I don't know. This game is really just like a toss up, and I think it's just going to be how it is going to be the remainder of the season. So I'm hoping for a win, but I see it as like a 1-0 more than anything.
Yeah, I think the main concern is that's like I always talk about the defense, but I'm actually switch it up. It's actually the offense, because it's like I'm looking at Tomas Angel, which he had a decent game versus Tigres, right? He got the goal, but feels like it's a confidence issue. 100%. I'm not really sure, because it's like when he scored and celebrated, he did the celebration where he's just like getting off all the bad energy. So it's like that does kind of cause to concern a little bit. And then versus Mazatlan, I'm gonna be real, really wasn't that inspiring either. So it's kind of ringing off some alarm bells going forward to think like, okay, is Tomas Angel the guy to kind of lead the line? And maybe this new signing is kind of to light a fire under his ass to be like, listen, you kind of have to get it going or else, you're out the door. So
Right.
I don't know. Maybe we'll see. So I think that's actually my concern is especially if these men are going to park the bus, there's no way we're going to score,
Right.
especially with the form that we've been in. So I don't know. We'll have to see. But let's get a score prediction just real quick.
Yeah, I think it's just 1-0 for me.
1-0
yeah,
SD?
SD, yeah.
Fairs, I think, I hate to say, I think it's going to be another draw. I'm going to say a 1-1.
Yeah, could be.
And I think we drop points in this one, unfortunately, but I really hope I'm wrong. But I think the only saving grace in this game, truthfully, it's Dreyer.
Right.
I think Dreyer unlocks this game, and I think he really makes a big impact. He's well rested, right? He's kind of getting back into the shape of things, so I think that's going to be one of the main things that we kind of look at going forward.
Yeah, and I think we just figured out what the team needs to do, and that's it.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm hoping that Yepe is back as well. So that'll be a big bonus. So guys, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. What do you guys think about the whole Leagues Cup campaign? What game was your favorite out of all three? Let us know about the new signing, Corey Byard. Escondido native. Does Tony's Pepperonis go crazy? I don't know. And also, let us know what you guys think about our next game versus Kansas City in MLS. Carlos, you got anything else to add, my friend?
Yeah, I think, we've done this for almost like a year. No, not a year, but we've done this for almost a whole season. Mm-hmm. We really only have 4 home games left. Mm-hmm. We're about to close it up in the next 2 months, this league. Just shout out to San Diego for doing the best that we could. If we ever needed more energy than we ever needed it now. We need it now. It's go time. It's not go time only for the team. It's go time for the fans, and we need to start showing up because our roles are important now at this point of the game, and everything that we can do go forward. Shake off the Leagues Cup energy, shake off the rest, and it's time to lock in. I think it's lock-in season.
100%.
That's it.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. So, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and TikTok. Link in the description. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao, ragazzi.